had it fail, but it still worked before.
Tick is not what it used to be, man.
It is not. Honestly, Sam, if I make things work with Kick, great. But I'm never going to be able to compete with those hot tub titty streamers over there. Just no, none of it.
We got
I
enough
mean,
fan service, man.
fan service. I got little dice that roll up that I can't compete. This ain't no bikini show right here. I don't even know. Everybody just look at my dice. Look at me. Maybe if I just posed in a pool of dice.
We need like a nerd militia calendar.
A nerd militia calendar. What would you even put in that?
No, you know how they have like the tasteful nude calendars. There you go.
Okay. Now hear me out, Sam. Now you're in better shape than I am. We get like a kiddie pool, and we just fill it with dice, and we just have you just kind of like lazing it around in it, and just like no shirt, just like a day at the beach, but it's just all these dice, nat 20s, all through. It's like, yeah, it'd be like Legos.
Oh my god, getting out would be like
death. The get out of the pool of dice challenge.
Oh my god, that could sound really fun, actually.
How do we fill a pool with dice? Yeah. What if we convince a bunch of TikTokers that it's fun to swim in Legos?
We start our own trend, right?
Yeah, I think there is some potential there. If CNN can talk people into eating Tide Pods, then I think we have a shot. Let's start the show. Welcome to Dungeons and Talkshows, the talk show that brings you monsters, news, and homebrews. I am your host, Orion.
And I am your host, Sam.
I'm telling you, bud, just Lego pools, dice pools, and if you dump them out on the floor, that's a lot of damage either way.
This image is it's painting a whole new idea.
A very dangerous
idea. Just use dice as like, what are those called? Like ball bearings,
I'm thinking caltrops. Like, how dangerous would Kevin McAllister be in Home Alone if he was a dice goblin?
Look, we talk about Kevin McAllister. This boy should have been in prison by the second movie, all right?
I mean, the theft, the breaking and entering, the meeting up with Donald Trump would get him hanged in modern day.
Look, the first movie, all right, you stand your ground. I agree with that.
Yeah,
they broke into his house. We let it slide that he, committed some Geneva Convention rules. It's fine, but in the second movie, sorry to spoil Home Alone for people who haven't seen it. I guess
it's been over 20 years. But, maybe our guest tonight knows a little bit more about dice and Legos with the Geneva Convention. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Hi, guys. I'm Crystal. I go by GingerGeekGal56 all over social media. I am the founder of GinGal Games. We just successfully launched and funded our Kickstarter for our game of Divine Calling, which will be fully out of production in March. So we're hoping to get it to our backers in March.
That sounds so exciting.
We are so close. It's just final passes now with my editor and then with my layout artist. So that's where we are with that. But I do love the idea of making people get into a kiddie pool with dice. My recommendation is not to use sharps or D4s. Everything else I think you can get away with.
Yeah, just D12s. It's like
D12s.
golf balls.
Yeah, D12s. Maybe a D100.
That's legitimately a golf ball.
Basically.
You ever meet someone that's got like one of those liquid D100s where it's just like all kind of like stubbled up like a golf ball and then like it spins around on the inside?
Yes, I have one.
Dude, I've been seeing a lot of those Facebook ads for the ones that have like the eyes inside.
Mm-hmm.
They look so
yeah, that's creepy
cool.
and wonderful.
I want one.
I love a good liquid core. Like I don't need more dice. I'm gonna start that sentence because my wife would kill me if I brought more dice into my house.
I feel that on a spiritual level.
But a good liquid core die is my favorite.
How do they make it so that they're not shifting?
I don't know.
I don't make the magics there. It's eldritch magic. They capture it inside the die, and that way, when you go home to the wife and you're like, "Honey, please don't kill me now. Listen, look at this. Look at this. There is an eyeball in this die. It is floating around in there. Like
you're gonna ignore the fact that it's a little bit weighted, I guess. Whatever.
We're gonna ignore the fact that I spent too much money on them, but definitely look at it floats.
Yeah, but if I'm rolling like a death save, think about how cool that death save will be when I die and I rolled the Eldritch Eye die. You know what I mean? It's sick.
Now, hear me out. Lord of the Rings campaign, and you get one that's straight the Eye of Sauron, and you're the DM. You roll that right across the table.
Now you're cooking.
Yeah, flavor. Flavor's free. The dice, however, are not.
No, never.
Free dice. That's how you get me into the that white van down the road.
Gotta see them first, but then I'll get in.
Trust, but verify.
I've been thinking about how far we've come in society from don't get into car rides with strangers. Now we have Uber, and how easy it would be for people to just poison you on the street. Because if someone just walked up to me and was like, "Hey, you want to try this?" I'd be like, "Yeah, all right."
First off,
out of a concert without seeing a hot dog guy out there. I have this core memory of walking out of a K-pop concert into the streets of LA, and there were these guys with the bacon wrap hot dogs and onions, and I was like, I don't even care. I'm starving.
I'll take my
exactly. Our elders or whatever would be ashamed.
Oh yeah, totally.
They used to do the same thing. Like, dude, I live in Maine, where people are like, "Here, would you like a meat pie?" It's just like,
I'd never eat a meat pie.
I have once, just once.
I like Sweeney Todd way too much to eat meat pies. I went to London and I wouldn't eat a meat pie. I was like, there's a person in there. You can't convince me otherwise.
You and my wife would get along very well. Definitely on the same wavelength there. Right down to, you mentioned playing Vampire the Masquerade earlier.
Yes.
She's very interested in getting into that.
Surprisingly, with the chaoticness that is Vampire and World of Darkness in general, I've seen a lot of people lately be like, hey, I want to get into this. And I'm like, cool. I've been doing this since I was in college. I started actually in LARP. So, because there's a version you can do of Vampire that's a LARP. So I started that way. That's actually how I even got into tabletop in general, because it was like a hybrid game.
Yeah, I've heard a lot about that, because there's a lot of vampire communities that join together, all predicated on tabletop LARP type stuff with vampire.
Yes.
I believe one of the big ones in the community for that is Michelle Belanger. She's like one of those. She has this whole community for like psychic vampires and shit.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it's
we were
wild.
Just a little random group of theater nerds playing in someone's apartment complex. There were 8 or 9 of us who had apartments in that complex, and so we just used each other's apartments as different locations, and we ran around the quad all the time. This was my Friday nights in college.
You know what? I can vibe with that, considering my time in college. I would hang out in the little common area playing Magic with my friends. It's like you do what you do.
We played a lot of Magic too, just not on Fridays because that was LARP night.
I've never really been into LARP because I'm just the kind of guy that's like, for me, I'm like, I keep my well, most LARPs that I've seen are kind of a combat and role play, and I
Yeah.
like to keep my role play and my combat separate. If I'm gonna beat the shit out of someone, I'm not gonna be role playing about it. It's gonna be straight up and it's gonna be brutal.
No rock, paper, scissors. Fist.
She loves to LARP. She loves this conversation. I feel like I have nothing to add.
I used to be,
cool. I feel like I
yeah.
want to do it.
Oh, I could make you some weapons, dude. I'm really good at making foam weapons. I once made this giant pyramid head sword for my friend's cosplay.
Oh, I love that. There was a point where I was making foam fighting weapons because we got into like the little foam fighting ring in my cosplay community way back before I was really big in the community. And so we made the like weapons and stuff for the fighting pit.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you this: what is the coolest thing that you've either done or saw in a single fight during all of that?
I definitely saw someone. So this was like, okay, let's get you in the headspace. The
Okay.
year is 2013. Okay.
Right.
Everyone is still really into Naruto. Homestuck is rampant. Okay. Naruto, Sasuke, and Karkat are having a three-way fight. Naruto and Sasuke are both missing an arm, and Karkat is only got one leg. In an attempt to win, Karkat does a backflip, manages to successfully, while doing the backflip, kill Sasuke. The person doing Naruto drops to their knees and goes, Sasuke!
This is
Real
the
thing that
Mexican
happened in
standoff I
front of
never knew
me.
I needed.
Literally happened, and like this was a top tier Homestuck too, so like their horns didn't fall off or anything. Their gray paint was spotless. Like it was perfection.
That sounds really cool.
Damn.
It was so good. And then I had to go run around and be in Hetalia instead. I was like, this is cool, but I gotta go be a nation.
I gotta be a country.
I gotta be a country. I gotta be England.
Oh damn! I love Italia because like it just chibis the whole thing and it's making fun of all these countries and it's just so charming. But
It is, and the worst thing is it's like still alive. And every now and then, my friends will be like, "What if we did Hetalia again?" And I'm like, "Not again." But I recently went to a convention where a lot of the Death Note voice actors were,
ooh.
which brought back like all the Light and L cosplayers who were like handcuffed together, walking around with yali paddles, and I was like, "What is happening?
Oh my god!
Am I gonna have to be a country again?"
What the heck?
I love all of this. I can't say I've seen anything nearly as cool as what you described. I think the coolest moment I've had while getting a bunch of my friends for like kind of a boffer LARP style combat was one of my buddies had like the biggest sword that I had made, and I just had like a little one-handed short sword. So I didn't know if I could actually pull it off. So I charge at him. He goes for the wide swing, and I jump over it and like half turn midair and strike him in the back before landing. And I was like, oh,
Nice.
that felt so cool. Like,
Did you superhero land?
almost like kind of like half. So it's like I had to kind of like stick the landing, but like I couldn't get like the perfect landing. So I'd say 6.5 out of 10. But
That's
damn,
good.
if it felt amazing just being able to get that anime style move out because you would never get away with anything like that in a HEMA fight.
Right.
Man, I've been thinking about it a lot lately because I saw this post on Facebook. It was like, when was the last time you ran full speed?
That's hilarious because I remember one time when I was in school, I ran full speed on a treadmill to see what my top speed was.
Oh god.
Right? Now, it was only like 19 miles an hour. Okay, that's pretty good. Usain Bolt has me beat running just over 27 miles an hour, so I'm no Usain Bolt. Not by any means at all. But imagine the frustration of trying to convince somebody that you can run almost 20 miles an hour. Like, people think you're a fucking liar every time.
Yeah, there's like no fucking way.
It's not possible. No human can run 20 miles an hour.
It's crazy to think of like back in like high school or whatever. I was fairly good at sports, you know. I was like racing people on the daily or whatever. Now think about like Job Corps, you know, we used to race people sometimes. Like,
They still let you run there?
yeah, remember? What do you mean let me?
That place was so neutered and coddled. Like,
oh man, you remember the road to the wreck by the dorm?
yeah.
Long
Yeah.
road.
Yeah, I know the one.
Run up and down that.
Well, that'd be the one to do it.
Race me. I'd be like, okay.
I used to have a 9-minute mile because we were required to have a 9-minute or less mile for soccer.
Oh God, soccer! Ugh.
I was a goalie. I was a goalie. I didn't even run that much, and they still made me every morning. I had to run cross country, and then I had to run a mile. And I was like, I just ran 3 miles. Why do I have to run another mile?
The soccer player listeners were like, "Wait, what the hell? What do you mean?"
Honestly, all I want from the goalie is to have really good jump skills, like that episode of Samurai Jack where he learns how to jump good.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Goalie, jump good. And that's all you need. Because if you got that cricket style, just jump, boom, got it.
Man,
yep.
Some sports, like soccer, just give me the ick. I hate running.
Me too. Why do you think I was a goalie?
Like I played a lot of football in like school and stuff, and like
y'all only run for like 2 seconds.
That was too much.
Nah. When I was in high school, I made a point to shame the jocks at my school because, like, I'd be a D&D nerd playing Magic with the table gaming club and whatnot. But when it came to the fitness test, I was like, nah, I'm not about to let these people that are in sports think that they're better than me. No, it's not happening.
I feel that so much.
So I took that personally. So anytime there was a fitness test, I'd be maxing out all that stuff. Like, while the jocks were struggling to push out 40 push-ups, I'd be doing 83. If there was a run, okay, well, I'm running the full 20 minutes. Meanwhile, everyone else is just kind of like jog, walk.
100%. I was not running or putting my best effort forward unless I was on the field and my coach was looking at me. Otherwise, good luck.
So I was talking to like my friend and my girlfriend. They were telling me that like their school never had them change for gym, like that they could just like walk into PE, sit on the bleachers, and like pass. I was like, what kind of crazy school did you go to? Like,
first off, there's so much wrong with that because, like, if you actually do anything active, now your clothes are just drenched in sweat for the whole day. So you're disincentivized to actually do anything.
Right. I'm like, they didn't even have. They were like, we never changed into any clothes or anything. I was like, we never had locker rooms. I'm like, what? That's like mind-boggling to me because like my whole school, life career, whatever, was like we had locker rooms. You would go into the boys' locker room, change, whatever. That was like regular, and it's like, what, you didn't have that kind of school?
Honestly, like,
did they have sports?
Yeah,
like the TV taught you that you go to high school, you go into the locker room, and inevitably someone gets whipped with a towel, and it's kind of like weird. Like, why are you doing this? Like, I don't know.
Had showers, but no one ever used them.
Yeah, I showered every morning. I had soccer I had soccer for my first period, so we got there at like 6 a.m. and then we did soccer, and then I took a shower and I went to math class every freaking year. I didn't take math my senior year because I had already taken enough math. So my senior year, I played soccer, and then I went to English.
That's how you do it.
don't
I
know.
don't know. We were all the nerds in schools, but speaking of nerd things, I'd like to know more about the project that you got going on the Kickstarter. Could you tell us more about that?
Well, fittingly enough, it is about high schoolers.
Awesome.
Damn.
We got the segue.
It's come full circle.
So, A Divine Calling is a new tabletop RPG. It's kind of a rules like intro friendly game. It's going to be a D6 system, so you can go get your D6 from Monopoly, Yahtzee, whatever you have. You don't have to go buy special dice. You play as a high schooler who is chosen by the gods to help defeat an ancient cult known as the Void. The Void has been created over the years from the hate and the malice and the disdain people have for the gods. It has become its own entity because of all of this anger that it has, giving followers of the Void powers. Your job as a host of a divine being is to prevent the Void from killing all the gods and severing the gods from the world. You will
I
be
like.
given a god, which will be your deity type, and you'll have your clique. So you can be a popular kid, you can be like a stoner. That's really popular. Lots of stoners, lots of people hitting their vapes in the middle of class to talk to their deities. So you can kind
I
of
love
choose
it.
whatever you want. We do also have the weeb group. Um, we have some weeb.
Represent.
Um, and then we have 20 deity types. So overall, there's 200 click deity combinations you can come up with. So we have basic deity types like sun, moon. Then we have some stuff that's a little more niche like sleep, um, hearth, stuff like that.
I like that. It's kind of almost Percy Jackson-ish, but
Yeah,
like,
it's very Percy Jackson meets Buffy kind of.
yeah, I love that because it's just one of those settings that is very appealing. I don't know if you've ever seen Troll Hunters, for example.
Yes.
Yeah, like it really gives some of that Troll Hunter vibe.
Hmm.
And I love that because the Troll Hunter setting is, for one, just fantastic. Very well put together. Shout out to Guillermo del Toro for putting together Troll Hunters. Like, I
Right.
absolutely love the setting.
It's just so good. But I really like Chosen One stories. Literally just got back from watching the new Hunger Games movie. Really good, by the way. So I
Nice.
love a good Chosen One story, and so that's kind of what I wanted to bring into my first game.
And it's one of those things where if the party doesn't want to work together, too bad. Y'all are the chosen ones.
Exactly.
Yeah, like that's part of the challenge. And
Yeah, like if anyone ever saw like a show, a first show that comes to my mind that I used to watch as a kid growing up that kind of really goes for this aesthetic is Witch, the one where they had like these high school girls and they like get these powers and shit. And they're
Yes,
fighting,
the blue
fight.
outfits.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes, I love Witch. Witch and Winx.
I mean, I would say that
for real. Like, they had no business being as good as they were.
Right? Did you to yeah?
they're very big, like chosen one energy. Like, I mean, most of
Yeah,
them are
absolutely.
friends or whatever, but some of
They have to. I mean, one of the biggest plot lines they had going on is like Matt and Ty, those dudes do not mesh, but when they work together, it's fusion time, and all of a sudden, it's real.
Yeah. So you're more than welcome to choose any god from any pantheon across all the amazing pantheons. The
right.
examples we give are going to be your Greek, your Roman, your
Mhm.
Norse, and your Kemetic deities are going to have examples with each deity type. But you can choose anyone, obviously,
Right.
for
So
table examples.
something like Anubis, for example.
Mhm. Would be
Yeah.
could be a death god, could
Yep.
also be under the umbrella of knowledge.
Mhm.
stuff like that.
I
So
like
really, it's up to you to choose. And if per se if you both want to do Anubis, but one wants to do death and one wants to do knowledge, you could both work with Anubis. You just have different deity types.
I like the sound of that. And then there's always the potential. This kind of slipped through the one campaign that I ran with you, Sam, where we were doing the Greek pantheon. The potential of that one, that party boy, because you take Dionysus, and all of a sudden your whole deal is, you might be the stoner that's throwing a keg party on the weekends, in addition to being the chosen one.
Yeah,
right.
very much so.
That was really
We had a stoner who worked with Apollo, and so they would like get high and they would paint.
I love it.
It was really fun.
Apollo's so underused.
Yeah. Honestly, it was one of my favorite moments running my playtest was when my party was like, we're all gonna get high and we're gonna paint our deities, and I'm like, okay, make those creative roles, I guess. They had
This is great.
too much fun.
I think you could legitimately write an entire book series just with the simple premise there, and it's more relatable to that young adult genre. If you wanted to go that way, like you have your party members come together. Okay, we're going to write a book, but it's all going to be us fucking around.
Very much so. Yeah.
Right?
I'm very intrigued. I would definitely play this.
Yeah.
Same.
It's always nice to hear that because, as a designer, you get a lot of imposter syndrome. Like every day I would check my Kickstarter and I'm like, it's never going to make. And then literally like 3 days before it made, I was like, yes.
Yeah.
Validation.
I relate to imposter syndrome so much just being a host of this show.
Yeah, the imposter syndrome is real and it sucks, but just like being able to come on things like this and just connecting with people in the community just in general is always really helpful for me, honestly.
We're glad we can have you here today.
A really great thing we added after we did all of our playtesting, we ended up adding what's known as the anxiety chart. Something we thought was really great for high schoolers was this chart of anxiety.
Yes.
And
10 out of 10 right there.
Thank you. As you kind of go through
things. Kind of thing?
So essentially, it's this like chart that's followed on your character sheet. As you do things like fail certain social roles specifically, you get more and more anxious to a point where once you're all the way to the left and you're like at full anxiety, you have disadvantages and stuff like that. So like you have -2 to your rolls and things like that. But as you succeed more and you do more things socially, you become more confident in things like that, which gives you more bonuses to your rolls and stuff.
It makes
We thought it was a really good way to work in the calm down mechanic. We have I added a role called Calm Down, which I got from either Kids on Bikes or Glitter Hearts. No, not Glitter Hearts. Monster Heart. One of those two, I don't remember, has a very similar mechanic where you can like calm someone else down. And I had put it in there originally and we didn't have anything for it. And after like a while, we were like, what about an anxiety chart? You can use your calm down mechanic for the anxiety chart.
I really like the idea of even like incorporating this into like normal D&D. People are often like unsure of how to feel about a situation or how their character should be reacting. So I feel like kind of giving that guidance of like, you're not feeling too hot about this, you're not feeling too confident. Could be a good guidance.
I think that is a really good idea.
Yeah.
Someone go make it. Listeners, go make it.
Just writes down notes frantically. We do find ourselves doing that sometimes. Oh no, I'm knocking things over. Not like last week where we're like, okay, this terrifying idea would be great to just fuck with your players. It's like, oh, stop, Orion, Sam, don't do this. My DM's a menace already.
Everybody's just out there like, yes.
Me giving an anxiety chart to my DM, watching my DM ruin me with it. And then I'm just like, I'm absolutely ruined. And then I look at them and I'm like, thank you.
All right.
I think
This is what I
best,
wanted.
I feel like the best place for an anxiety chart in D&D would be if you were running the alternate rule set for level 0 characters.
Oh, yes.
Especially there, because as they start to move into being actually leveled, level 1, 2, and so forth, you kind of deal with, like you mentioned earlier, like your character kind of deals with a little bit of imposter syndrome because
Yeah.
they got all the anxiety of like they're trying to do heroic things and become a hero, but you're
They
starting
just got
from
down
level
by
0.
a rat.
Yeah, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it's not often where, I mean, when you play a campaign with characters that are above level 1, for example, right, you kind of have the idea that they've been doing it for at least a year. You know what I mean? They have a little bit of experience. They're not as, baby into the mercenary industry or whatever.
Yeah.
But playing with a
And
level
really,
0 and having, sorry, what?
well, I was just thinking that really with level 1, you're already above the average person, you know?
Mhm.
You would already be considered, an extraordinary individual.
Yeah.
Someone could see you on the street and be like, oh man, maybe they could help.
Exactly. Like no
I
matter
guess
how
in a lot
plain
of
you are.
cases, a level 1 could be considered like a starting adventurer, right?
Yeah,
You'd be at
they
like the
got the
base
sauce
level of
there.
a guild, yeah. You know what I mean?
Definitely
Yeah.
level 1 is more than Ash Ketchum started at.
Yeah, right.
Level 0 is where Ash started in Pallet Town being electrocuted by Pikachu.
Yeah, honestly.
That's a good idea for it, for sure.
One of these days I gotta try that Pokemon tabletop. Like I've heard good things.
I have
yeah?
heard very good things too, and I have a D&D 5e supplement that's for Pokemon that I
Ooh.
was handed at a convention. Like someone just handed it to me. I was like, okay, it's just on my shelf of many, many, many D&D supplements I have.
I love the idea of just going to a convention and like some shady dude in a trench coat's just handing out RPGs.
Oh man, dude! Speaking of Kickstarter launches, don't we have some news for this week?
Oh yes. This is D&amp bringing you nerd news. I love that news stinger.
So good.
I know. I'm feeling the vibe there. Yeah, Tim Van Dalen, one of our first guests on the show. We mentioned it previously, and he's launching his Kickstarter that I think it already launched. The Fernbloom Vale. So that's going to be pretty. Like, if anyone wants to back that, now's the time. And we talked about it a little bit before. He's bringing in all kinds of stuff to his setting, including items, all kinds of. I didn't read enough on it. I feel woefully unprepared.
Oh no.
But yeah, subclasses, items, character backgrounds, items. It's a very like Fernbloom Vale's very like it's a closed situation. So you don't have to worry about the greater world at large. It's practically like running just a single country. This is where your characters are.
Right. Always
So
like those. The smaller settings is always like a comfort too.
yeah, a smaller sandbox is just as good. You know what I mean? Like Skyrim's fantastic, but you know, you don't have to go to other countries to make the game good when you're playing Skyrim, you know?
Right. Oh, yeah.
And yeah, that's what they got going good there.
I love Tim. Shout out to him. He was a great guest. He's always doing some stuff.
They did reach their backing goal. I am
yeah?
currently giving them my money.
Oh, yeah.
I can't just not give someone my Kickstarter money. I've backed too many Kickstarters. My wife despises.
Well, you know, you're supporting the community, and that right there, it comes back. It's all going full circle, you know?
Yeah.
And that's what we love to see here.
Speaking of things like that, I don't know if you guys heard, but the Avatar live action trailer was released this week, and
I haven't watched it yet.
pretty good. You guys should definitely check it out.
Damn.
It's only like about a minute.
You know, I think that's just in time for people to want to get into the Avatar RPG. They just released a Kickstarter like this past month, and that Kickstarter involved the some setting book for Republic City.
Yes. They were playtesting it at Gen Con. Oh my gosh, it's phenomenal. I backed the original Kickstarter, and the stuff they have for Republic City is amazing. Also, their room this year at Gen Con was so cool.
Damn,
I spent
that sounds
too much
awesome.
time in there.
Dude, what a 2023 and like early 2024 is going off. Like
it is the year for Kickstarters. I want to make a bit, right?
Yeah.
And it's kind of One Piece themed because I'm a One Piece weeb. We all know this. It's no secret. And I'm thinking something along the lines of, you know, there once was a company called Wizards of the Coast who was king of the tabletop RPGs. But before they hung themselves from the gallows, this was the final words they said. Our empire is yours for our dice are yours for the taking. But you'll have to make your own RPG. We left everything we ever loved in D20s. Ever since, content creators all over the community have taken to making their own systems so they can something OGL make their tabletop dreams come true. I did not think this through. This is off the cuff. I'm sorry.
That was so good for off the cuff. You guys remember the scandal with Wizards where they used AI? Their artists used AI art.
Oh, that happened again. It happened again.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I just have a thing in front of me right now.
What a fantastic transition.
Yeah, they got caught red-handed again, but this time it was I messed the thing up. There we go. I just had to fix that. So yeah, they messed up again, and it was with the new Lara Croft. What Lara Croft? They need to stop with these cards. As much as I want, as much as I want the queen of polygon massive tits in the early 2000s on one of my cards, I do not. I don't know if this is the place to go, Wizards. Like, yeah, they put a secret lair thing out, right? And their advertisement was clearly AI generated. Like, they had like some posters, some Lara Croft stuff, a little TV, some controllers on the living room floor, a little video game thing going on with like some Tomb Raider shit. So imagine just an immaculate room ready to go for some Tomb Raider fan. And the thing was so blatantly looking like AI, you can only draw two conclusions. They were using a very shitty service that is for making advertisements, or whatever the more budget-friendly version of Canva might be, or they were just throwing a bunch of AI shit into Photoshop and hoping for the best.
Oh, Wizards.
Not
with the worst thing is okay, so the original story about Glory of Giants broke the second day of Gen Con. A loyal fan, a person who must complete her collection and own all the books, bought the book. And then the next day they said, it has AI art in it. And I said, I guess it's a collector's edition now.
Okay, Sam, I'm going to pull it up on our screen here. The little thing that they did with the AI.
Oh, yeah. Let me see.
Yeah, what do you think of that? What do you think of that, Sam?
On our streams?
Yeah. You can look on the stream right there. But yeah, you see the little TV. It looks just it's okay. If you're handing that in for a high school project.
Interesting. Yeah, it looks like something we made in like Photoshop in high school.
maybe this person just never outgrew their high school shit. I do worry about the coalescence, the crossover, if you will, of when you have very low skilled artists getting accused of AI art in the near future. Like people that are bad at what they do, and then like they're at the same level as AI. So like, oh, the lighting's all off in this. It's totally fucked. And meanwhile, the person that just made it is just dumb. Like, and they're getting accused of ripping things off with AI. Like, I wonder when that will happen.
Could be. That could be the case. I mean,
I'm,
I don't
I
know.
mean, I think this is AI because I've seen enough AI stuff to be able to spot it. But damn, it's one of those things. Yeah, yeah, there is a line. Just don't cross your line. And then additionally, we do have another little bit of news, just the last bit, because it's been a slow tabletop news week. Now, the Pathfinder, major year for Pathfinder, yes? They are going into the new 2024. They are going to be re-releasing some of their core books that they announced this earlier this year. So they're kind of updating their core books, all these classes and things and little tweaks and changes and tune-ups. So when people joining the hobby get these new core books, they're going to be like, okay, my player's handbook, my dungeon master's guide, they're going to be all updated and tuned up and ready to go. So I guess the old stuff is collector shit now, maybe? Get your discount books.
Yeah.
That's a way of looking at it. But they're going to have their monster core and player core 2. They're scheduled to launch sometime in 2024. I don't think they have an official launch date yet. But they do have some preview PDFs on their website. So if anyone's interested, they can go check that out. Y'all know where Paizo is. You got Google. I'm not your mom.
Look, they found us. They can find Paizo.
Definitely. They can find Mathfinder.
Yeah, they can find math.
They already like it.
Yeah, that's it for tabletop news right here. But after closing those two news tabs here, I do see some of the stuff from your Kickstarter, and I do like what I'm seeing here. Like you got the goth kids in here, you got the nerds, the fine arts, the weebs, the loners.
How many clicks can you double dip in?
You can only do one click and one deity type. We didn't consider multi-clicking.
Multi-clicking.
I guess the best way to multi-click would be a floater, essentially, because floaters kind of go between different groups, and you get to choose your bonuses. So we have 4 stats. We have physical, mental, social, and then we have divine, which is your stat that you use to do your divine abilities. Each click comes with a bonus to either 1 or 2 of those stats, and then a bane to 1 or 2, or to 1 of those stats, not 2, only 1 bane.
Right.
Okay.
Interesting. I like it.
I like that. I think that's a lot of fun.
If anyone is looking to run this game, hit us up.
For sure. I really like the concept. And honestly, I've thought about running a Percy Jackson style game before using some for some 5e modern type stuff.
Yeah.
I would say that even if I didn't run this system per se, there's tons of rules that in setting and all this stuff right here, I would love to just kind of yoink, just put that in the thing that I'm working on,
Do it.
There's just so much here that it's very compatible with modern settings in general.
Mm-hmm. We love a good fantasy setting, but I am only so creative, and I can only do so much. I can't recreate a fantasy setting. I'm not gonna try. So I really went for modern because it almost feels more accessible to me to do a modern setting, because you can literally draw on, hey, we all went to the same high school, so at least you kind of know where everything is situation,
Yeah, and on top of that, you can extend things further. Like you can choose your setting based on like let's say it could be a hometown everybody in the party knows, or you could do a city. And city maps, all of a sudden Google Map is your map, you
Best
know?
friend.
And
hmm We've considered doing a addition for college where we would kind of just change the clicks around a little bit.
yeah,
Yeah, age them up and maybe change them to like major instead of click.
that is a good idea. And you could definitely work a lot more interesting stuff into that cuz like double major for example, you could double click. That'd be a lot of fun. Ooh, you could incorporate like cults and hazing because it'd be a college
Oh,
Oh my
campus.
gosh.
yeah, the
Rules
Yeah,
for
sorority.
hazing.
yeah,
Sorority
or like
rules.
the
Ooh.
plot kind of writes itself. Like if you put yourself in like say an Ivy League school, right?
Mhm.
Now, lots of people conspiratize and talk about how you got these secret societies like the Illuminati and the Skull and Bones and all these other
Yes.
societies. And it's like,
Mhm.
okay, you have to infiltrate the conspiracy. You're up in
Yes.
Harvard, you're rubbing elbows with the hoi
Yeah.
polloi, and you're just like, okay, we got to get in, but they got this weird satanic thing going on. My God's not with that, so we got to take them down.
Yes, that's very Candle Obscura.
I like it. So
Thank
cool.
you.
It's
I
just one
took
of
a
those.
lot of my inspiration from like Kids on Bikes, Glitter Hearts, Monster Hearts. A lot of my favorite like just light indie games. A lot of it's powered by the apocalypse that I drew from, honestly. But I had never played a Power by the Apocalypse system before, so I didn't know how to write it, so I just made my own system. And the right, like, and the goal is that it'll be a system that I'll continue to write. So, like, my next project, which currently is Scooby Doo and the Ghoul School meets summer camp.
I
So,
love that. I grew up on Scooby Doo, so like I know
Nice.
exactly the movie you're talking about.
yeah. See, I was a summer camp kid, and like, I love a good summer camp just in general. So it's very much that you're just a normal average Joe and you work at this summer camp and your campers are monsters. Like I work in the werewolf cabin or I work in the
Mm.
vampire cabin
Oh, I like
and
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, that's
stuff
pretty
like that.
solid. And then like kind of like the Scooby Doo movie, the rival camp on the other side, it's just a bunch of military school
Bunch
dudes.
of, bunch of military kids.
Yeah, ROTC. Like, oh man.
It writes itself, and if you go with a camp thing, like the first thing that comes to mind is Kim Possible, like that episode where they went to that summer camp, and
Yes, and the
there's like
lake turned the guy into the monster.
yeah, the lake turns the guy into the monster, and like across the way there's like nerd camp and like
Yes.
clown camp, and they're just like you could just go wild on that shit. Like oh shit, we're getting in a fight with the clown campers, and they're hiding all over the place, and they're scaring the shit out of Buddy because nobody likes clowns.
I love that. Oh my gosh.
Infinite potential, like you
Not
tapped
me
into
putting this
a
in my
awesome thing
notes.
here, and I love it.
That's the goal for 2025, probably 2024, 2025. And then after that, we're doing Brindlewood Bay meets Drag Queens.
Interesting.
Interesting. Hey, Jinx.
Yeah. So we have a whole can of ideas, and we're very excited about everything. But first goal is a divine calling.
All right. Sam, what do you got for the monster this week?
So this week it's a little bit less of a monster and is actually more of like a little bit of a race. And I realize don't really talk much about races.
You usually don't, because they're kind of diet.
But I did, yeah, I did have the intention of talking about a monster. But you told me we were talking a little bit about the celestial stuff with your divine, TTRPG. So I was like, we looked through the celestial creatures, and I've kind of talked about the Hollyphant, the thought about the Kutal, maybe someday. Then I started looking into wild space, and how little, anyone really talks about just the space of D&D, right? What lives there. So then I started looking at like the space whales. I was like, oh shit, these are cool. And then I found something that really kind of stood out. A race of dragon-like centaurs called the Dracons.
Oh yeah, you mentioned that. Those things go hard.
These are a 2E creature. They are a large, lawful good. They were a strange spacefaring race of dragon-headed centaurs with the body akin to a brontosaurus, elephant-like feet, a human torso, six-fingered hands tipped with wily claws. They had a length of 10 to 12 feet, 3 to 3.7 meters, and a lifespan of roughly 158 years. These creatures were sometimes described to be somewhat stuffy in personality and were more likely to retreat than to join a fight. So I just love the idea of like these weird like guys just on a ship. I don't know. Spelljammer is something I haven't really looked into much. I was very curious.
Oh, it's some wild stuff. I plan on incorporating some of the aspects that Spelljammer has into the upcoming One Piece campaign because there's a lot of useful things in there, and One Piece is just a wild setting to begin with.
Yeah, I'm really excited for the upcoming One Piece campaign, man.
For sure. So what can you tell us about these things? Like Draco Centaur. Like I'm hooked right there. Like
I was like, wait, hold on, what?
Is this like a dragon deity? Like what's going on here?
They were a highly civilized race. Dracons abode by a strict and stylized dueling code when solving disputes among themselves. Despite not expecting other races to be bound to their terms, Dracons were honor bound to accept them if properly challenged by an outsider, except in special cases. And I was able to find like they had this kind of code of conduct. So the challenge code proceeded according to the following steps. One Dracon challenged another. The challenged Dracon had the choice of weapons. The challenger named the terms of the challenge to the death, first blood, etc. The challenged named the location and time for the duel to happen within reason. So pretty basic stuff. Their weapons of choice were thin, long swords, but they were also proficient in wrestling with their claws. They were fond of darts and halberds, which were most commonly used as ceremonial weapons. And they wore armor that was ritualistically donned before battles.
Okay. So this is like
a strange like chieftain society that I'll talk about in a second.
They sound like Klingons, kind of,
Yeah, kind of. And apparently they were even known to have, certain relations with like other races and have like their own like opinions and stuff like that. Which I think is kind of interesting. They also have their own religion too.
Oh.
Yeah. So
interesting.
Next up here, they were vegetarian and possessed a strong herd instinct. They usually traveled in family units led by their eldest, who was known as its Kaba. If a Dracon became separated from his family, it became ill until reunited or found a proxy family or a group a group to join in order to recreate its family structure. For that reason, it was sometimes common for members of other races to adopt stranded Dracones as honorary family members. Similarly, it was also common to find Dracone family groups that had adopted humanoids.
Okay, so
which is
they're like cats.
interesting. Yeah, which is interesting considering like how they feel about humanoid races. It's really funny.
This just sounds like Land Before Time, but put dragon heads on
Yeah,
everyone.
right?
And this is all I can picture in my head right now.
That's really funny too.
It's like
I have
little
some
foot,
indication.
but with a dragon head.
That changes the movie entirely.
Oh man. Little was known about the Dracone homeworld, but it was described as dry and arid, dominated by grasslands and desert terrain, with shallow seas and inclement climate. The planet was also reported to have one moon. The reluctance of Dracones to describe their home planet to other races was attributed to their distrust of other races. But others speculated that the spacefaring Dracones were in fact lost and could not find their planet, leaving me personally to assume that maybe they don't know the name of their planet.
We have a planet. It looks like this. Do you know a planet
maybe
like
they don't
that?
know exactly like where in space their planet is.
It's okay if you don't know. No, we have a planet. It's a very glorious planet, very dry and sunny, and it's good for our people. Oh,
yeah, people love it
there. Some worlds refer to it as a vacation planet. Oh, so it shouldn't be hard to get there, huh?
Yeah. Oh man, definitely. So, despite their caution, right, them being very civil, they like their herds. You know what I mean? They maintained cordial They maintained cordial relationships with humans, elves, dwarves, and even mind flayer. They were all collectively referred to by the Dracones as the Deformed, and were all considered to be basically like the same race.
I love their blatant racism towards every other being in existence.
They're like, yeah, man, if you're different, then like you're just weird.
If you're not us, you're just like, you're not us. It's kind of weird. So like, okay, I guess we can work with you. Like, we can have a conversation, but fact is, you ain't got scales like this, man.
What gets really interesting is they usually confusedly describe other humanoids as possessing mixed traits that belong to multiple races, right? So they thought lizard folk as their kind of disabled kin. They're like, where's your where's the rest of you, homie? Like, what's wrong? They've frequently adopted lizard folk into their herds, which I would imagine it's like a stray
entire tribe. They treat him like a crippled puppy.
Yeah.
This is our lizard folk friend. He as you can see,
only got 2 out of 4
he's
legs.
a little slow.
He's a little slow. It's like those women that adopt 3-legged dogs.
Yeah,
exactly. Instead of naming their like pet lizard folk tripod like you do a dog, they name their pet lizard folk bipod.
Bipod sounds like a racial slur here.
It does.
I mean, especially considering, they considered centaurs to be their allies. They thought beholders were comical beings. They thought,
I think a beholder is a comical being.
They don't even have legs.
They don't respect them, all right?
They don't have legs, but they sure have 10 eyes.
They do not respect beholders, man. But
what you doing having that many eyes and no legs?
But they respect dragons, all right? But apparently they hated whatever the Nyogi are. All right, they would just straight up hate those boys.
You gotta have legs to be on the level.
Hold on, let me look up at the Nyogi. They look like weird ass centipede spider creatures. Yeah, I hate them too. All right,
too many legs.
Yep, too many
legs. No legs. Too many.
I can get behind this. Oh man. So speaking of what they believed and how they felt about people, their religion.
The things that really separate people at the Thanksgiving table.
Exactly.
Religion and legs.
Exactly. Sorry, Grandpa. The Dracon religion embraced Dracon counterparts, the human, elven, and dwarven deities. The Dracon pantheon, known as the herd of Upkala, was pictured as a great herd that always moved together. It was led by Upkala, the full leader, a deity of wisdom and leadership, who always knew the right course of action. The term also referred to mortals whose decisions were in perfect accordance with Dracon ideals. It was a great honor for an individual to be called Upkala. The pantheon included a spider-like dark god, an evil tempting deity who snatched children who strayed too far from their herds. Its physical description led some sages to believe that it represented the Nyogi. Oh, okay. So that's why they hate them.
It sounds like Lolth almost. Like
it does.
Maybe
right?
it was lost in the centuries of their religion, but maybe they just have a legit hatred of Lolth, and she's got too many legs. She's got that spider behind. Ain't about that shit. Get that bitch out of here.
So I'm looking at the Nyogi page, and it says that they were basically like a wolf spider mixed with an eel. That sounds disgusting.
Oh, that's terrifying. Get that bitch out of here.
I hate it.
An eel? I don't want wolf spiders to be slippery.
But yeah, it's all I really have for Dracon today. They're interesting. I would love to see these, or I guess some more Spelljammer like things in 5e.
Spelljammer shit like that in Hollywood. Like Hollywood needs ideas.
Man, they need to stop dipping back into the well of nostalgia and wringing that bitch for milk. You know what I mean?
Every time you were talking about their religion, I just kept thinking of the Great Stallion, the religion for the Dothraki in Game of Thrones.
Oh yeah.
So now in my head, it's a bunch of Dothraki riding Bigfoot with a dragon head, and this is what you have taught me today.
I'm glad
if you take nothing else from this conversation, let it be that.
Yeah. And I'm
literally gonna finish this call, and I'm gonna go out there and have to describe all of this to my wife.
And I mean, there's no like special abilities. They were just a centaur people, I guess. You know, I wonder. I mean, I guess there's no reason not to assume they couldn't do magic, you know, or have an inclination for magic.
I mean, draconic races usually have something going on.
I'm curious because I was looking at their page and I didn't see any like connection to draconic races. You know what I mean? So they're not draconic, though that they do speak draconic. I mean,
maybe it's like a parallel evolution.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Weird ass planets in the middle of space can just be weird, I guess. Some dragon went there and fucked the centaur, I guess.
Dragons do be like that.
They do. They are the Zeus.
It was a red dragon too. You know those red dragons be doing that.
Yeah, the red dragon do get around like that.
They went up to some random planet. They were like, yo, this place is dry as shit.
Let's spice this dry ass planet up a little bit. Come on, guys. And then convinces all of them that 4 legs are superior to everything.
Oh yeah. I wonder how they feel about Dragonborn.
Okay, Sam.
Like, what's wrong with you?
Could you fight one of these, Sam?
I mean, look, I feel the same way that I would probably feel about a centaur. You having a dragon head probably wouldn't benefit you that much. Like, I feel like I'd probably take one. I mean, they're just like they're regular people, I guess. Nothing really that special.
What would you put that on the IRL fight score?
It's weird to me that they measured them in length and not height. I don't
Maybe
know.
they're low to the ground.
Hold on, let me check my notes.
Because now you got me thinking like a Komodo dragon.
Okay, so they're 10 to 12 feet
Long.
from head to tail, I imagine, right? So diagonally, right? So they're fairly large. I mean, if they got like brontosaurus bodies, elephant feet, they're probably pretty big.
Okay.
I'm definitely gonna maneuver you. I'm getting to that back, and like you're kind of, you know what I mean. Once I get on that back, you're fucked. So I feel like
I'll give you that.
I'm giving it like a 6. Your size might get me, but unless you do something special, I'm not impressed.
I mean, based on like the way they fight,
Yeah,
you get to choose the terms.
If you
So
challenge them,
they choose longsword, you choose first blood, and then you just get up in there.
Right. I'm getting in that guard.
I think y'all are overcomplicating it. I'm going to put the IRL fight score at a 1.
Oh, yeah?
But before I get to that explanation, I do want to hear what your thoughts are. Like, could you take these?
No. No. That thing is so big. I would just, they'd be like, fight me. I'd be like, I just want to know about you. Tell me where you're from.
I'm think about like, maybe it's like the size of like a bear. How big is a bear when it stands up? Like 10 feet?
Yeah. Well, bears are considered to be large, so yeah.
We don't have bears.
Yeah, I mean, they are considered to be large creatures. Okay, so we had a whole episode on bears, okay? Just for, like, my brain scaling. They're bear-sized, but they're, like, they got long bodies.
Yeah, they got the tail, and they're, like, stretched out. But, okay, so...
Get in that guard.
I really do think that fighting these guys is a lot easier than you think, and... Yu-Gi-Oh! Has taught me how. I will challenge them to a children's card game.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Pull out the Beyblade.
It's between that and Dance Dance Revolution.
Let it rip.
You could anyone at Dance Dance Revolution if they had legs.
There's no way you're beating a centaur in Dance Dance Revolution.
Oh, they're gonna get all those legs on the mat? I don't think so. They're too long.
Just based on the way their legs bend, I think he would have the upper hand.
Look, I feel like we've all seen what's that show, Over the Hedge or whatever, with the cows. They bust a move. All right.
Yeah, but we're talking longer than a cow. That's a little bit more difficult, man. And I'll have you know, I took 6th place out of like 8 people in a Dance Dance Revolution tournament some years ago. I'm just saying. Once that song gets going, Video Killed the Radio Star, I'm done. I got you. I'm placing it at a 1.
Look, another thing you could do, they got 6 fingers, they got claws on the ends. Challenge them to like the challenge of dexterity. You know what I mean?
I mean, they got 6 fingers. They got more dexter. They got more dexters
than
I do.
I don't know.
They start flipping coins through those fingers. I don't stand a chance. I bet they could shred on guitar.
How many thumbs do you think they have, or do they just have more fingers? Like they got second thumbs.
Maybe they got like a finger coming out of like the wrist, like
what do they call it? Like a raptor claws?
Yeah.
I'm not on camera, but you were like coming out of the wrist. I was like, yes, like slamming my finger on my wrist, like you guys could see.
We literally did the same thing. That's right.
We're all vibing. We're on the same wavelength. We got you.
When I lived in New Mexico, we had a bunch of cats that were all polydactyl, and I guess our cats had babies that were all polydactyl. And they all had the weird, fucked up little toes. It was so funny. They were so cute.
I love a good polydactyl cat. I think I pet 100 of them when I went to the Hemingway house.
Oh man, that's so good.
I have a cat like that. Her name is Twinkle.
This is a great episode. Talking about cats.
Well, if you don't have cats at your D&D table, you might have done goofed because, when after a long session of fighting a lich, you need a little snuggle buddy to kind of calm yourself down,
Unless your cat is in your dice tray, making you roll once, then the cat should be removed from the table.
I wonder if there should be special cat rules. Like, if a cat swats your die, you have to accept the new roll.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Special advantage cat
I'm walking into my vampire game telling people that. Monday.
My cat is my familiar. All right, they can roll for me.
I can cast spells through them, they can roll for me.
Yeah, exactly.
Ooh, what if, like, if your cat, you kind of like train them a little bit to bat away anything that's rolled towards them? So, like, maybe have like a special rule, double or nothing. Like, you double down on your roll, and if you do that, you roll the die toward the cat, and the cat just bats it. You know?
Oh yeah, teamwork.
This is starting to sound like those catapult dice rolling things that I bought and I don't use.
This is just a complex dice towers plot.
You want to talk complex? The other day, I got the inspiration to start working on some tensegrity towers.
Oh yeah, you were talking about that.
And then I found out that they were already a thing, and I'm like, but I looked it up on Google Images. I didn't see it anywhere. Well, why? Why didn't I see it anywhere before now? Then our friend in the server is like, no, it's a thing. Have a look.
Dreams crushed.
Here it is.
Oh, no, not dreams crushed, because that tensegrity tower didn't look like how I was thinking. I got a chance.
No, yeah, yours was a lot different,
right? It will be, because I now know what not to do.
True.
I got a 3D printer. I can make this shit.
Oh yeah.
Dust off that printer. The kids really want me to make some stuff. Like, my daughter wants me to make her a golden snake.
Ooh.
That's so cute.
Yeah, I think my other daughter wants me to make something. I'm not really sure what she wants me to make, but I'm sure she'll make it weird.
Well, as long as it doesn't have 10 eyes and float, I think it'll be okay.
Yeah, I mean, once you're floating, I'm done.
Look, I'm not saying I'm floater racist or anything, but not saying I disagree with their idea.
I'm not saying that beings that float should be allowed to live.
Comical beings, all right? Let's be real here. Just the idea of them being like,
like ha to a disintegration, right? Like,
yeah, like they see just like a ship of beholders fly by. They're like, get a little of these guys. Fucking idiots.
I'm sorry, but like a ship of beholders is just as bad as the space clowns to me.
Yeah.
I want to leave space if there's a ship of beholders coming at me.
You know what? I think you got a chance if there's a ship of beholders, because you can be like, yo, listen, I heard that Roy over there was talking some mad shit about a mutiny.
There's one beholder standing on top with just like a captain.
He's just got like prosthetic legs.
He has like peg eye stalks.
No, it's not random when this guy's launching disintegration.
Oh
it's the only eye stalk left.
Anti-magic and disintegration. That's all he has.
Oh man.
He cut off the rest of his eyes. That way he has 100% chance of killing dudes.
Oh my God.
I'm giving too many ideas. These DMs are getting too powerful.
I'm putting this in my notes.
Please do.
I have like this, me and my friends who DM as well have this shared Google Doc, and it's just insane ideas for players. And then it's long. We've had this document for like 3-4 years now.
That's a good idea.
That is a good idea. Also, you know what? You should send them to check out our show for all the insane ideas we come up with on a regular basis.
Oh, I'm going to. This is gonna become our new problem.
Oh yeah.
My players are gonna hate me. That's fine.
If you happen to be one of her players and you're listening to the show, I am disingenuously sorry. Well, not entirely disingenuous, but I am sorry, but I'm not at the same time.
I will remain neutral.
I am juxtaposed. I'm not exactly neutral. Like, I'm sorry, but it do be like that.
They sat at my table.
I think a good thing to describe today's episode lines up very well with your Descriptify for this week.
Yes. This week's Descriptify, we have Resplendent.
Wait, you gotta do the stinger.
Wait, did I do the stinger
As he frantically looks at his keyboard?
You confused me, sir. I didn't make the Descriptify. I didn't make the Descriptify stinger yet.
I thought you did.
I was racking my brain before the show, like, okay, I got time to make a stinger for the show. And I've been meaning to do one for a while. Then, poof, off into the ether, the memory to make that specific stinger.
It'd be like that sometimes. What's the word again? Resplendent?
Resplendent. Yes. Ooh. Something that is splendid or dazzling in appearance. Brilliant, even. Something glamorous, to say the least.
Colorful. Yeah, right?
Yeah, colorful. Shining brilliantly. This is the kind of thing that a noble might say. Or you'd be describing a noble or a king's palace or a dragon's hoard as resplendent and opulent,
Absolutely. Makes sense.
Also, Tamatoa from Moana.
Yes. Very much. That is a resplendent cash that one has. Absolutely. I watched that movie a few hundred times. I kind of lost track after a while. I confused.
That's my least favorite song.
That's a good movie.
Though. I confused the fuck out of my Honduran roommate Juanito one time when he came into the house, and we were playing the movie in Spanish because my kids just watch it so many times. I was like, "Fuck it, we're going Spanish today," and it's very confusing because some things don't translate exactly the same for the songs. For example, when Maui's singing "You're Welcome," Spanish "You're Welcome" is "de nada," which literally translates to "it's nothing." So he's just dancing around on the screen, singing, "Yo, I raised the sky. I ripped this shit out of the sea. I'm doing all this crazy God stuff. It's nothing."
It's nothing to me, man.
So much better.
This shit ain't nothing to me, man.
It's nothing. I took an eel, buried its guts, sprouted a tree. Now there's coconuts. It's nothing, bro.
Oh yeah, he was cooking. Dude, did you hear about the live action Moana?
Get rid of it. I don't need to deal with Moana again.
Jesus Christ.
That movie's too recent for them to. You know what? Disney needs to just they need to shut up and just start listening to what people actually want. I've heard people talk for years about how Treasure Planet would be the ideal live action remake.
They care about what people want. This is 2023, Orion.
It's about to be 2024, and if they don't straighten up, they're going to go bankrupt.
Bob Iger won't let that happen. Bankrupt. Man, the Illuminati
start putting his own money in there. They're gonna
he would
cut his paycheck.
I said this before we started recording. I'm a travel agent, so I don't too many facts about Disney. Just the insanity. They bring $30 billion in economic revenue to Florida, and Ron DeSantis had the balls to go, "I don't like you. You're too liberal." And I was like, who's gonna win, Ron DeSantis or Disney? Who do you think's gonna win?
Honestly,
Disney is one of the big corporations in the world. They basically run most of it.
Yeah, the Illuminati is just Disney.
Yeah, I feel that, but at the same time, you got to admire the balls it takes to be like, "Fuck you, Disney. I'm going for it." Like,
I mean, if he wants to keep doing that and Disney wants to come to Texas, I won't say no.
Texas is that kind of a place. Everyone's going to Texas.
We got those lax business laws.
Some would even say they're sketchy, but that's okay.
They are just a little sketchy.
I mean, Disney's kind of sketch. They let some kid get eaten by a crocodile. Like,
Bro, you know how many
let a
kids
bear
go?
into the park.
You know how many kids go missing in like the Disney parks? Oh my god!
Listen, I'm not saying that Disney is a fast track to Epstein's Island, but I'm not saying it isn't. Disney be sketchy as fuck, man.
Yeah, I mean, shit. It's the corporations. Here at Dungeons and
Child leashes
Talkshows.
were invented for a reason.
Here at Dungeons and Talkshows, we do not support the federal corporations.
Federal corporation. It's so accurate and so wrong at the same time. I love it. Well, yeah, we just don't like authority in general.
Yeah. Get them out of here.
You got money and power? Fuck you. Until we have money or power. Then the shoe is on the other foot and fully laced.
Once we have money and power, you can say fuck us. It's fine.
Yeah, we expect this. It's how the world works.
It's the circle of life.
Everything the light touches. Damn, every time I think about The Lion King, I think about the time I convinced a bunch of Job Corps students that it was a allegory for why socialism is bad. I was just pulling shit out of my ass. It was hilarious.
That sounds like those college classes that they're like, the professor's like, if you come in and participate, and participation can be as vague as, hi, I'm here today, yes, I agree, to Lion King is about socialism.
Oh yeah, I was spouting off. I was like, yeah, you see, when you have an unfettered immigration of hyenas into your kingdom, and then you're redistributing all the wealth and all the taxes to everybody, and in this case, taxes are all the animals that are getting eaten.
It's zebra.
Yeah, zebras are taxes. So the lions, they had a measured amount of tax collecting where, every now and then they'd go out, collect the taxes and kill some animals. But when the hyenas came in, they're just taking too much of the taxes and everything was barren, done, dead and destroyed. And then you had to have someone come back in and throw a coup.
This sounds like a documentary I would watch at 2 a.m.
This is the TED Talk that we need.
The iceberg on the Lion King. The world you didn't know.
Is Scar a socialist? Let's find out.
Oh my god.
This has been a resplendent conversation.
Very much so. The funny thing is, the entire thing could have been completely avoided if Mufasa did what lions are supposed to do when they win and just finish Scar off.
Kill Scar, right?
Yeah.
Because when the male lions fight to decide, I think this was in a documentary. I could be wrong. Someone can correct me later, but I'm pretty sure that the loser is supposed to get killed in the process.
Yeah, basically.
Because otherwise, they just they become bitter and cynical, and they come back later.
I'm pretty sure if
they make you sing about coconuts.
Yeah, if they don't die during the fight, they get killed by the pack after.
Yeah, I think I heard something about that. On National Geographic. Maybe.
Then it's like, I'm not even gonna bother to kill you myself. You know what I mean? You ain't even worth it.
Ooh, that could be very good for the occasional player that's just like, hey, I was going to be a king, and they try to, or a prince, and they put that in their backstory, and then you're just like, nah, you're getting the Scar backstory. You're marked across the face, and and you had to escape the kingdom because when fighting your brother for the throne, you lost, and after that, he showed a little bit of mercy, but everybody else was not merciful.
Dude, I love the idea of exile. Is always an alternative to being executed or something. Just being told to just get out of here. It's so funny. Just get the fuck out of here, man. It's so funny. Go on, get.
You're straight evicted from a country.
Oh man, I don't want to see your face again.
That would be a hilarious consequence for people in Curse of Strahd specifically, because in Curse of Strahd there are 3 main towns and only one of them is decent. And if you one of the in the book as a like DM, it's like your players could get kicked out of this town. That would really suck. What if you're exiled from the town?
Yeah, you just straight up like
instead?
don't come back.
Do not come back. Banished to the woods.
Depending on how dangerous the woods are, that's fantastic.
Because then you get in situations where your players are like, all right, I'm going to sneak in. And they're like, you're going to fucking die.
It's already bad enough. Like, most campaigns, you don't track food and stuff. But if you are
I did in
if you're
Strahd.
if you're exiled from society,
Mhm.
you better start tracking those rations now.
Are you not playing something like a druid or something? You best believe you're getting tracked.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, I think this is a pretty good segment into our homebrew segment for this week too.
Yeah.
Generic realm, lots of fun, excellent. Woo, 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 woo.
Yes, the generic realm. Now,
generic realms.
it's party time.
Every time I hear one of y'all's like heavy metal like things, it just takes me back to the Dolly Parton new album that she dropped, the rock and roll album.
Did she really? Oh,
It's so
man.
good.
I haven't heard this.
She sings with Stevie Nicks, and I'm like, this is not what I asked for, but this is everything I
Interesting.
needed in my life.
Interesting.
Things of like Leonard Skinner. It's insane.
It's out of left field, and I'm okay with that.
It is. It's very
Yeah.
good. Dolly Parton can do no wrong.
Well, she's an American treasure, like
Yes.
Danny DeVito.
Absolutely. We stand Danny DeVito on this show.
If shout out to Danny DeVito if he wants to come on the show and learn how to play pretend with grown ass adults in dice.
Man,
I think he'd be very good at it.
Just getting to talk to Danny DeVito for like 2 minutes would go crazy.
Sorry, I totally derailed y'all's homebrew combo.
Oh no, you're good.
That's all good because that's how this show works. But I am tying it back in because this week's homebrew that I present to y'all it's God related. It is because we have the Volcano Domain Cleric subclass.
Ooh.
Yeah, let me
We
just
love
pull
clerics.
exactly. And a volcano domain that just sounds badass.
I just dropped my players in a volcano recently. So.
Dude, I really liked when I had my players go through like a volcano-y area.
That fight was crazy, dude.
That was so fun.
Okay, so Volcano Domain. The god of fire beneath the mountain lies dormant no longer. Those who walk barefooted... Wait, who the fuck is walking barefooted? I'm losing myself here. Those who walk barefooted upon their scorched earth, their scorched soil, are alert to bubbling power beneath their feet. Clerics of the Volcano Domain channel the warmth of a simmering volcano in the way they tend to their abilities, and let it erupt in searing fury to destroy their foes.
Nice.
Okay, so they get some Volcano Domain spells. First level, we're getting Cure Wounds and Eyes of Immolation. Now, if you're going to have Cure Wounds, I'm going to flavor that as your cauterizing shit.
Yes.
Hold on, I'm going to look up Eyes of Immolation because I've never heard of this.
Honestly, it makes me think of my favorite cantrip from Pathfinder, Cauterize, like from first edition.
Immolation?
I don't know if it's in second. No, the Cauterize as a cantrip. That's.
Oh no, yeah. So I wonder is Eyes of Immolation like special to this?
There are some special spells in the back.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So following up at third level, we got Healing Spirit and Unstable Explosion.
So, here. So I'll go ahead and read the special spells for people who don't know what they are. So, Eyes of Immolation. Here we go. Is a first level spell, Arcane Primal. Somatic component, range of 30 feet. Your eyes glow with fiery light before focusing on a creature you can see within range, causing a beam of fire to shoot from your eyes. Target creature must make a dexterity saving throw. On a failed save, takes 3d6 fire damage and is set ablaze, taking 1d6 damage at the end of each of its turns. Blah, blah, blah. Save at the end of its turn for half damage, which is not set ablaze. Can upcast, level 2. Cool. Nice.
Light them up.
Guess that one's really cool.
Yeah, and the name is great.
Yeah.
Then, let's see, 5th level, we got Aura of Vitality and Fire Cyclone. At 7th, Aura of Life and Fire Shield. And then cap it off at 9th with Mass Cure Wounds and Pyroclastic Lance. Ooh, that's a fun name for a spell.
You can go ahead and read these ones if you want.
Yeah, I'm going to go into the abilities because it's really short with those, minus the Volcanic Blessing.
Yeah, these are pretty much what you would expect them. Fire Cyclone, Fire Lance, hurl it, do a bunch of fire damage.
Yeah. So starting off, we got Searing Insight. When you choose this domain at 1st level, you gain the Create Bonfire cantrip if you don't already know it. This cantrip doesn't count against the number of cantrips that you know. And you get proficiency with Medicine, Nature, or Survival, your choice. Then we got Volcanic Blessings. At 1st level, your healing magic grants a blessing to those who receive it. Whenever you use a spell at 1st level or higher to restore hit points to a creature, you can apply a Volcanic Blessing to the creature. A creature can only have one blessing at a time, and if a new one is applied to them before the blessing expires, it replaces the previous blessing. You give them a blessing determined by the numbers on the dice rolled, and there's a little table right next to it for all that. If you do not roll any dice to heal, such as when maximizing the die, you cannot apply the blessing. Okay, so if you have an ability that would make you get maximum and not roll the die at all, you don't, no blessings.
Okay, makes sense.
Okay, that's fair.
And the die table is a D8. So first blessing, target gains a +1 bonus to all ability checks for every one you rolled when applied. Every check for every one you rolled when you applied this blessing for the next 10 minutes. Okay. Then number 2, we got the target of this blessing gains a +1 bonus to all attack rolls for every 2 you rolled when applying this blessing for the next. Okay, so I guess you can do it multiple times to get more stacked bonuses. That's a little weird, but I'll take it.
Okay.
And let's see, number 3. The target of this blessing adds a d4 of fire damage to any attacks they make or damage cantrips they cast for the next minute. If you rolled a 3 when applying this blessing, for every additional 3 you rolled, the fire damage die increases up to a d12.
Ooh, interesting. Oh, I wonder if this is okay.
Okay, so like if you Okay, so this applies to when you're using healing spells. So like if you upcast, then you have the potential of getting multiple of the same numbers rolled because you're rolling multiple dice.
I like that.
Okay.
I was a tad confused at first, but that's okay. We have deductive reasoning here.
Yeah.
The target of this blessing subtracts 2 from all damage taken for the next minute for every 4 you rolled when applying this blessing.
Okay.
Number 5, the target of this blessing adds 5 feet to all their speed characteristics for every 5 you rolled when applying this blessing for the next minute. 6, the target of this blessing gets a +1 bonus to all saving throws for every 6 you rolled when applying this blessing for the next minute. 7, the target of this blessing gets a +1 to all of their AC for every 7 you rolled before when applying this blessing for the next minute.
Nice.
And then 8 is the big one. The target of this blessing instantly replenishes uses of a class or racial feature. The feature must normally replenish on a short or a long rest and have a maximum number of uses greater than 2. If the feature replenished is not a spell slot, the target replenishes 1 use of the feature for every 8 you rolled. Okay. And if the
That's
if,
interesting.
it is. If the feature replenished is a spell slot, the target replenishes one spell slot of a level up to the number of 8 you rolled when applying this blessing. The maximum number of spell slots for a spell slot restored must be greater than 2.
Mm-hmm.
A creature can benefit from this effect once before completing a short or long rest. Okay.
Oh, that's nice.
I've never heard of a 5th edition ability to restore someone else's resources.
There is with Wild Magic Barbarian, I believe. Because one of our players is a half Wild Magic Barbarian, half Paladin of something, and can punch my character to give me a 3rd level spell slot back so I can cast Sending. So I can't remember if it's a Paladin or ability, but I think it's the Wild Magic Barbarian ability.
That's very interesting. That's a very rare thing to find.
The idea of giving back something like a dragonborn, their breath, or
Mhm.
somebody their ability to fly for like helicopter or whatever. You know what I mean? Like that's pretty cool. Or someone giving back like their action surge, or
Oh,
you get really crazy stuff like that.
Yeah, comboing with a fighter, like you heal them and they get an action surge back.
that would be so good.
I like this, and I love the kind of Indonesian style art right here on the page because
that's really cool.
like circles back to how we were talking like Moana earlier,
Mm-hmm.
So 2nd level, we got Fertile Eruption. You can use your channel divinity to release a surge of healing from you. As an action, you can choose to roll a number of die and assign each die to a creature of your choice within 30 feet of you. You can assign multiple die to the same creature. When a creature has a die assigned to them, they regain hit points equal to the number of all die assigned to them, and they can be given a volcanic blessing as usual. Each time you use this feature, you must choose one of the following type of die to roll in the corresponding number to roll and the corresponding number of that die. Okay. So you roll a number of d8s equal to 1 plus your proficiency bonus, a number of d6s equal to 3 plus your proficiency bonus, a number of d4s equal to 2 plus your 2 times your proficiency bonus. So this is a party buffer.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
That's a
I
wide
really like the balance between being destructive but healing. Because when I saw the name Volcanic Domain Cleric, I was like, this is gonna be a lot of beating people up with fire. I like that there's healing.
Another fire,
It's leaning into the aspect of volcanic deities are deities of destruction and life.
Exactly.
And like rebirth, yeah. Like that.
So that I really like. And consistent buffing of the party. This is a true support subclass.
Yes.
Yeah. With, it looks like consistent damage.
And the ability to buff your party in this way, like you roll a number of d8s, okay, cool. You split that among the party, or number of d6s, boom, everyone's buffed. They get like a different blessing.
Yeah.
So everyone get a +1 on your saving throws. Everyone get an extra plus to this stat. Everyone get a buff to your AC. And objectively, these are pretty balanced as far as buffs go.
For sure.
And I could see some potential here. Like, I don't know if you could necessarily manipulate. Like, maybe if you had like some ability to re-roll certain things, then you might be able to apply that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, advantage wouldn't necessarily apply to some of the dice that you're rolling here. But I would imagine that there are some abilities that could work with that. Moving on to 6th level, we got Geothermal Reforging. In addition, so you have resistance to fire damage. In addition, when you use a spell of first level or higher, or a class feature to restore hit points to a creature, you can re-roll a number of dice rolled to determine the amount of hit points restored. The number of die you can re-roll equals your proficiency bonus. Okay, so they beat me to it.
Yeah.
Then after that, we got potent spellcasting at level 8. You add your wisdom modifier to the damage you deal with any cleric cantrip.
Ooh, nice.
So Sacred Flame just got a spicier.
Yeah.
And then we're going to cap things off at level 17 with Erupting Blessings. When you use a spell slot of first level or higher, or class feature to restore hit points to a creature, but before you roll any die, you can choose a number of times. Yes. Each time that number appears on a die, you roll when rolling to see how many hit points you can restore. You can roll an additional die and add it to the total.
Nice.
You can continue to roll additional die until the number you choose no longer appears across any die. So you can max stack.
That's
If
I
you
like
wish to reroll any damage,
gambling.
not damage. If you wish to reroll any die using your geothermal reforging feature, you must do so before rolling any additional die from this feature. Also, when you apply a blessing to another creature, you can choose to gain the benefits of that blessing as if you had
Oh,
Oh,
applied it
nice.
yourself. Okay.
it only rolled half as many the number of rounded up. Okay.
So that's a good capstone, you know?
I like this. This is cool.
Really gets you set up to buff yourself and your allies. At that point in the game, you're going to be facing stuff that you want to be able to have consistent buffs that are tactical for your party. So by that point, being able to stack the dice in your favor to get what you're looking for, perfect.
Dude, imagine you stack this with like a paladin or something. Go crazy.
It would.
Or like a
And
flare.
yeah, the spells that we were looking at earlier, they really are just the spells are
Yeah.
going to be what gives you your big damage, and the features are what give you your buffs and healing.
Yeah. I'm just thinking about the access of spells you're gonna have just by being in the cleric list. There's so many. There's already so many like AoE buffing and healing spells that you could take. And it seems like your damage is pretty much covered with the spells you're taking.
Yeah, I love the versatility here. It's very consistent. Overall, good. Yeah, Crossout has done a very good job here. I think it's pretty balanced. And I would say 9 out of 10. And that's only because like there's so much good here. It might be too good, but it looks balanced.
Yeah.
What would you two think?
I feel about the same. I like the spells. I like the features. I'm always a little bit like reluctant when I've seen classes that are like first level, second level, sixth level. Just because like me personally, I like to kind of keep things because this would make me want a subclass. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like a
I
subclass
get
of
that.
spells. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that gives me a lot of ideas. Like, okay, well, what can I pair this with to kind of fill those blanks?
Yeah, I could see someone breaking it if they multi-classed it correctly.
Yeah.
But I definitely see the potential here. I like everything this has to offer on its own, and everything that this could just go with. Just sounds
That being said, anyone listening that wants to use this subclass after checking it out in the description, just play responsibly with this one. You don't want to piss off any DMs out there because this is it. If they're letting you use this, let it be fun. Don't make them miserable. You know.
no, man, I like the idea of like giving your DM, forcing them to react to something like this. You know what I mean? You have somebody you can now kind of support the party in a wide scale way, you bring creatures that now do wide range attacks, or you bring multiple swarms. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You can get very creative and interesting with your when you have something like this.
absolutely.
I
Now,
wonder
yeah.
if you could like stack this with like a silvery barbs situation.
Ooh.
If you took if you multied with like wizard or sorcerer or bard, or even I think you can get silvery barbs if you pick up magic initiative. Don't quote me on that one.
Yeah, Magic Initiate would be the one, yes.
Yeah, because it's a first level, so
Yeah.
that would be so good.
Yeah, the multi-class potential is definitely high since it's on a cleric.
Hmm.
Okay, Sam. Wanna jump into yours?
Mine. So today I have brought the Poncho of Caustic Etherealness and the Caustic Phantom. I think where it comes from. Created by Airy Ains Codex. They do have a Patreon as well, so shout out to them. And I'm pulling this up again. This art, by the way, looks fucking sick. Shout out to the Codex of Strings, and their website and everything. That's their module that they have. Seems super cool. Go ahead and talk about this. This is a wondrous, very rare item. This fine garment was made by a very skilled arcane weaver using the veil of a freshly hunted caustic phantom. To attune to it, the creature must spend 1 minute inside it, taking 1d6 acid damage every round.
Whew.
After that time is elapsed, the caustic nature of this item will stop harming them and they will become attuned to it. While attuned to the Poncho of Caustic Etherealness, the creature gains resistance to acid damage and the ability to cast the spell Etherealness once per long rest. Additionally, when hit by a melee attack with a reach of 5 feet, the attacker takes 2d6 acid damage. So, nothing too crazy. But I also wanted to talk about the Caustic Phantom. This just the creature this comes with, and I love the idea of having this item, pairing it with like it comes from this. That was like,
It's an item that has a stat block monster to go with it, so that's a good pairing.
Yes.
right. So I'm gonna talk about this monster a little bit. So as you can see, it looks kind of like my brain comes to like a Mars Martian, they have like their full like transformed form, without like the double arms or whatever. Kind of look like those.
Oh yeah, like almost like a xenomorph Martian Manhunter type
Mhm.
situation with like these long claws, and it almost it looks like a Cthulhu on the back, Just kinda,
Yeah, it almost has like the wispy like tentacles on it. Kind of cool. So go ahead and talk about this. The Caustic Phantom is a medium aberration, chaotic evil, AC of 14, speed of 45 feet. Pretty normal. This is a
yeah, it's a CR,
CR4.
yeah, CR4.
Nothing too crazy. Got a strength of 10, dexterity of 18, constitution of 13, intelligence of 14, wisdom of 12, and charisma of 5. So, understands deep speech but cannot speak. Very
Okay.
sneaky creature indeed.
It's a sneaky boy, got the sneak attack, evasion. So this is like an acid rogue type monster.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just real quick over some of its more special abilities. We got acidic etherealness. Caustic Phantom can move through other creatures as if they were difficult terrain. When traversing this way for the first time in a round of combat, the creature takes 1d6 acid damage. Then it has the acid damage sneak attack, has the evasion, like you said. If the Caustic Phantom is subjected to an effect that allows it to make a dexterity saving throw to take only half damage, it instead takes no damage. If it succeeds on the saving throw, and only half of it fails. It can also cast the spell Etherealness as an action 3 times per day. It's pretty cool. It's also really crazy. Kind of stands out to me. The engulf attack that it has throws itself onto a large or smaller creature within 5 feet. The target must make a DC 15 dexterity saving throw or become painfully melded with the caustic. Holy shit. While melded, the creature takes 4d6 plus 7 acid damage at the start of each of its turns. Targets can use their action on a subsequent turn to try and break the meld. Other creatures can also spend their action to attempt to break the hold, but take acid damage each time they try. Yeah, it's just a full grapple.
This thing is, it's fun. I like the concept because it presents a very, this is just one of those things where it can run around being like, hey, I'm Danny Phantom and I'm going to rub acid on you.
Suddenly there's a group of these, you got a problem. If you don't have someone who can deal with something that's shifting in between the ethereal, oh man.
Oh yeah, for sure. More than like one is a problem.
Primary part, melee party, you're getting hurt by acid damage every time you try to hit it.
Acid damage, that's gonna etch away at your sword. It's gonna etch away.
Yeah, and then if you have a DM who's calculating that shit, good luck.
I do like that they did take the time to include that if you try to remove someone from the grapple, you are taking damage.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of that in D&D. So.
Yeah, I like that a lot. And I also really like the attunement process. Mm-hmm. Has this engulfing, trait where you have to kind of let it engulf you, get used to it.
It's kind of like the scorpion armor from Tomb of Annihilation.
Oh yeah, true. I like that. Very, very cool. I like this a lot. Shout out to Adrian Stringweaver and the Adrian's Codex. Shout out to them. That's really cool.
Yeah, leaving a link to that below for sure. It's just, we do not see enough of stuff like this,
I feel like the fact that there's a monster to go with it makes it like the item is fairly simple and easy to understand, good use, especially to anyone who's a melee, caster.
It's balanced. There is a cost, and the cost is dramatic. This whole thing is very dramatic.
Yeah, I love the idea of someone being like, hearing about these creatures and I want this ability. I want to see what I can do with it. And then they make this poncho, and it was worth it.
I would say it'd be fun, like your party maybe meets someone who's using this, and they see this person just blitz right through some enemies, and they ask like, what is this poncho thing that you got going on? Like this magic thing, like. Someone just touched you and just acid. What the fuck, dude? Oh yeah, I skinned this caustic phantom. It's a part of me now. Where would you find something like that? Oh yeah, in the marshes of the Deepland. I lived in a swamp town called Thebes. It was destroyed by caustic phantoms, but not before I took their leader.
Creatures like this that shift into the ethereal, you could just be like, oh, they showed up one day, started swallowing the townspeople.
What do you do? This is terrifying. You just get entire villages wiped.
When we went to go fight them, our blades just phased through and then melted in our hands. Like, oh my god.
You could telegraph to your players by having an encounter with these. Like, say they're fighting some bandits or something, and then the caustic phantoms just come in and they're getting everyone. They don't care. There are no sides, and all of a sudden you're looking over at these bandits that you were harassing before. You see one get completely melted. The leader looks over to you. Let's call a truce. Yeah. Or truce. Get your ass over here. Come on.
I love it.
I love that. I love a good situation where you can turn like your enemy into your friend, even for like just a moment. Like that's so good.
Even being like the CR4, they're fairly like they're not really that strong, but like their traits are strong. They're smart enough to be a threat.
Very similar to like shadows, the ones that have the strength drain power.
Yeah. What do they call it? Shades or whatever?
Yeah.
They can hit above their weight class, and I think this falls into that category of hitting above its weight class.
Mm-hmm.
Like 10 of these towards a town.
Town gone.
Yeah.
Oh my god, a necromancer or whatever is using these.
Oh, that'd be great.
Nobody ever has acid immunity anyway.
People really don't think about it until they fight an ooze and lose all their weapons.
I would say you might even want to include some of the if you wanted to beef the stat block up beyond the how
leader variant.
Yeah, if you make a leader variant and you just take a couple things from like a gelatinous cube. Terrifying.
I also wonder, because this makes me think, if you can make the poncho out of this thing, what kind of weapons can you make?
Yes.
Can I make like a caustic sword now, or like a caustic ethereal blade? That sounds fucking cool.
That's very
People
interesting.
don't play with like etherealness enough. Like,
That's because it's hard to deal with.
yeah.
This is true.
That's the point. Like, it's supposed to be.
Like I just got etherealness, and as someone who's playing a bard rogue, etherealness is now the reason I steal things.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I play around with too. When we were doing our Grim Hollows campaign, we had one of our players was like a warlock, kind of dark, mostly necromantic abilities. So on occasion, I would give her, a little glimpse into like the etherealness going on. Maybe she'd see a ghost or something. And they had an encounter with this ghost dog, and it was just a fun session to play around with. Like, oh, it's gone. Oh, you watch it phase into a wall and disappear from sight. And now it's walking up next to you. It's just kind of they're just there, and they're always there. And then it makes you think of like, oh my god, what else is just like chilling on the ethereal plane? Like
hags. The answer is hags.
It always hags.
It's like a running joke now in our game because we started out playing Tomb of Annihilation, right? And so there are hags in that tomb. And I took sea invisibility after the hag stole my hair.
Oh
no. So my character is just plagued with hags. And anytime she thinks there's like a hag, she'll look past sea invisibility because you can see to the ethereal plane.
Yeah.
The amount of times I've seen so many invisible hags, it's insane.
Leave you with anything in the final moments of this episode. It's to have a hag dip its hand out of the ethereal to steal some of your players. All right.
Do it.
I love it.
Traumatize them.
Suddenly there's a hand. Your player's like, what's going on over there? Cha-ching! And it's gone.
Indecisive players? Well, guess what? You're getting harassed by the ethereal.
Now your players are paranoid and terrified.
As all things should be.
So, Miss GinGal Games, if we would like to leave anything with the listeners today.
Go play games. Check out your favorite indie creator.
Yeah.
Go make someone happy. Back a Kickstarter, comment on their products, things like that. We are a community for a reason, and it is listeners, players, friends, all of that make this community what it is.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely. And it's been great having you on. You've been a wonderful guest.
I agree. This has been a lot of fun. Thank you guys so much for having me.
And as always, everyone have a great weekend.
Hope you all enjoyed this episode. Terrorize your players in another week. Yes. We'll give you more ideas next week.
Dungeon Talkshows. We got ideas. That needs to be the next singer.
We got ideas.
We're nerds. We have ideas.